Hey, I'm Brendan Bally, and I'm making a video game in my bedroom. Last month, I brought Nixie to MAGFest, and it was awesome. But a couple things broke, and I don't mean just things in the game, I mean physically broke, and cost me some money. Let's talk about it. So here's my booth at MAGFest. I was in the indie game showcase, and I was actually very pleased with how the booth came out. But in order to pull this off with the two computer setups, I brought a lot of my gear from my studio. I do have one computer that's dedicated to being like the Nixie computer, but then the other computer I brought is literally the computer that I'm developing the game on, with all of my studio speakers and my audio hardware and everything. But the very first thing that broke was a 35-inch Vizio television set that was in my attic. And I brought this thinking that I would stick it on the end of this table that you see on the left side as sort of a display piece to just be a second monitor to show people walking by some gameplay footage. Like as other people were playing, they could see this larger monitor on the end and get a sense of the game if they were just passing. Anyway, we plugged the TV in at the show and discovered that the LCDs, or LEDs, I don't even know what kind of TV it was, to be honest, had been smashed. They had gotten crushed in the car. We didn't put enough padding in between all the boxes and things that I had put in the truck to load up the setup. And the TV got crushed. It looked fine on the outside, but when we turned it on, the whole panel was just cracked and bleeding, and it looked terrible. So we picked it up, found the nearest dumpster, and chucked it. It was gone, dead, just completely dead on arrival. The second thing that broke was the game itself. Now, I'm happy to report that the game only crashed once. But when I say it crashed, I mean for the first time ever, I saw Nixie.exe has stopped working. I've never seen that happen before. Of course, the first time that's actually happened was at a show when people were playing it. And I'll show you exactly where it crashed. It was in this room on this ladder. A player managed to get hit, die, and also attach the character to the ladder, I guess in the exact same frame, and that caused the game to crash. The other issue that cropped up with the game was more of a slowly evolving problem as the show went on. And I discovered that after the game was played for several hours, some sort of bug was causing some extreme lag, but only when players used the analog stick. If they used the D-pad and any of the other buttons, no lag at all, the game worked great. But for some reason, using the analog stick would cause substantial lag. And it would work fine when you booted the game up, and it would work fine for an hour or two, maybe a couple hours. And I think it has something to do with how often the scenes in the game were loading. Every time you'd go into a new scene, some sort of bug must be occurring where the analog stick is getting reinitialized and it's recalculating multiple times over. And I have no idea how to fix that. I have not looked into it at all, so if there's any Unity gurus out there that have experienced that and know the solution, please let me know. And then last but not least, I plugged in my Scarlett device. Now, this thing has served me great for the last 5 years. A lot of people write bad things about the Focusrite products. I've had no issues with this until I made a huge mistake. So what I did is I grabbed the wrong power cable for this thing. I accidentally grabbed a 19-volt power cable for the other computer monitor and plugged it into the Focusrite, which takes a 12-volt power cord. And the thing about this is that it worked fine for a few minutes because it wasn't so much extra voltage that it just fried immediately. The thing fired up, it worked, I had sound, it was working fine for a few minutes, and then I noticed that the power was out and it was not working. And I was like, what's going on? What's going on? And then I traced it back to the power cable, and I was just like, oh no. Oh god. I fried it. It's completely fried. It's dead. Like, it's just gone. And like I said, I've seen people complain about these things and their reliability. I am the one that broke it. Like, it did not fail on its own. It was completely my fault. This thing has been a workhorse. I've used it every day for 5 years with no problems. So Oh, to replace it, that set me back about $175 to get one of the modern replacements. I literally just bought the current equivalent of the exact same thing because I've had no problems with it, and the new one is working great, but that is some money that I really, really wish I didn't have to spend because that was so stupid. Oh, one TV destroyed, a Focusrite device fried, a game crashing bug, and then an issue with the analog controller causing extreme lag. That's the bad news. The good news is that MAGFest was amazing. I had a great time. The indie game showcase was extremely well organized and well run. I met some really cool people both on the staff and other game developers. I had some very insightful conversations. But the best news of the whole show was that people really seemed to love playing Nixie. I mean, I was so flattered and humbled by the response to the game. I had people that played through the entire demo, like from start to finish, searched all the nooks and crannies, got all the items, and the feedback was just very, very positive. At the Indie Game Showcase, you can leave your game open for 24 hours. I opted not to do that, but I did stay up pretty late, and I had players every night up till like 2 a.m. when I just had to go to sleep. I had people playing the game that late into the evening, so it was great. I got a lot of valuable feedback, a bunch of which I've already implemented into the game, and it was just a great experience. And if you haven't been to MAGFest, it's just a great show. I mean, if you're a nerd, there is something there for you. Like, you'll have a great time.
Okay, it's almost 2 a.m. I'm dead tired. There's a guy in the Nixie booth with the volume on the speakers absolutely cranked. All you can hear in the indie game section over on this side is Fort Valia's soundtrack. Not that I'm complaining, but man, I need to go to bed soon.
So how about a quick update on the game itself? Well, I prepped a rather substantial update to the demo for MAGFest, which is now available on the website. Right now, I'm in a little weird position where I haven't updated the Steam demo, but there is a newer version of the demo available just exclusively on the website right now. I am going to update the Steam demo eventually, so right now there's a little bit of a mismatch. If you want to play the latest version of the demo, go to nixiegame.com. You can download it through the Google Drive. So the biggest new feature with this demo is that there is now an entire second area to explore. And I learned a lot about building that second area and then transitioning into the biodome area that I had already built. And what it illuminated was I need to get my ducks in the row in terms of just the structure of the game so that as I build out more areas, I don't have as many delays and things that I have to manually do before I can just start churning out levels and tile sets and different worlds and transitionary areas and stuff like that. So I'm working on that, fixing bugs, adding some new player abilities. I'm going to work on some kind of boring like utility stuff. I still don't have a save system in the game, but there is a map now. That was a major thing missing from the earlier version of the demo. So we do have a functioning map in the game. Still working on getting the map to reveal as the player explores, but you can at least see the map now. It is completely in proportion to the actual level of the game. And so that's finally in progress. Once all of that minutia is sorted out, it's just going to be off to the races with not only building out the levels, but also writing more of the cutscenes and dialogue and NPC dialogue, and really kind of like bringing the game to life. There is an introductory cutscene in the new demo now. It's not entirely finished. I do plan on revising it pretty substantially, especially on the visual side, adding some more visuals. There's a lot of exposition in that cutscene that's just sort of like... I already have some ideas to kind of polish that up. But there is a cutscene, so some of the storyline elements of the game are now officially in the demo, which is cool.
Oh my god, do you have any idea where he is?
That is going to be the difficult part. Your mission won't be easy, but it is simple. Find my son and rescue him any way you can.
So to anyone that played Nixie at MAGFest and took the time to give me feedback, thank you so much for coming and for playing the game and for spending time with me there. It was really awesome meeting not just other game developers, but players that were really passionate about retro games and retro indie games. That whole event really gave me a lot of motivation. So it was so humbling, and I just appreciate everybody taking their time to play the game and talked with me about it. So go on over to nixiegame.com and grab the demo if you haven't played it yet. I'd love to hear your thoughts, and I'll see you in the Discord. Later, bye.